matter the location. From OAKLA to LV, I'm a Raider.
Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. I'm going to dive into some Raiders news and rumors today. We'll talk about Derek Carr. Yes, I got to talk about Antonio Brown. Cory Littleton will also dive into, and we will first start off the show with some NFL news, and that is around training camp because we do have a little bit of an update. So teams don't expect players to report early, but this does mean training camp could start on July 28th. So basically, if veterans come July 28th, then all the players are going to be there. And it's kind of exciting. And yes, obviously, you're looking at a longer ramp-up period. But this also could result in cutting some preseason games. And we've kind of already seen some teams, not named the Raiders, cut a preseason game. What game is that? It's the Hall of Fame game. That was scheduled for August 6th, 2020. And it was the Cowboys versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, which maybe y'all don't care about, but you are already seeing teams in the NFL cutting some preseason games. So what I want you guys to think about here is, okay, the potential of the Raiders cutting some of their preseason games. Now, week 1 and week 2, they are on the road. Now, at Seattle, at the 49ers, it wouldn't actually surprise me too much if these two games were ultimately ultimately cut. For me, though, the games that I would really be worried about are the third and the fourth preseason game because third normally is the one that matters the most, and the fourth preseason game is kind of that last chance for those last players, I guess, to try to make a roster. So we'll end up seeing if there's any preseason games cut out for the Las Vegas Raiders. All right, let's get into some Chucky heads now here on the Raiders Report. Is Derek Carr going to get benched in 2020? This one's from DraftKings. I'm going to give it only one Chucky head because I think it's a small shred of truth, but I am telling you that I do think that there is a chance that Derek Carr ultimately does get benched. So I saw DraftKings, I saw another sportsbook put out some projections for Carr this upcoming season. Both of these projections had him throwing for about 3,300 yards. What does that tell me? That they don't have him projected to have an entire season. They also had him going for 19.5 passing touchdowns. So if you follow Carr, if you follow the Raiders, you'll know that he's thrown for over 3,300 yards the last 4 seasons and, well, basically almost every year of his career, and over 19.5 touchdowns 3 out of the last 4 years. But I did see Evan Silva kind of talk about this a little bit in depth on Twitter, and a sportsbook actually quote tweeted him and said, yeah, we actually have Carr projected to get benched halfway through the season. So for me, I was like, okay, what games do you exactly see Carr getting benched for, or when exactly does it happen? Now, it is a very tough slate of games to start out the season, and I do actually anticipate, not just for the Raiders, but football in general to be, well, kind of sloppy because we haven't had training camp, you haven't had mini camps, you haven't really had the time for players to work together. For me, I think the most likely scenario for Carr getting benched, honestly, is in Week 6 because a lot of the benchings do kind of come after the bye period, and we do have a very first tough 5 games. But when I look at the projection from DraftKings, I mean, to me, the way that it's kind of mentioned in the article is if he's going to play around 12 games. So what does that mean? 12 games to me, I do actually have the Raiders having a tough game against the Atlanta Falcons, and the Jets, obviously, they struggled last year. This is one of the more difficult schedules when you look ultimately throughout the entire NFL. The Raiders are a team that's going to travel a lot as well, but for me, I do still hope that Carr can play the full 16-game season, obviously. But I am confident at least in Marcus Mariota, and I know the Raiders are very confident in Mariota as well. So the million-dollar question, or actually it's like a $22 million question, will Carr get benched in 2020? I want you to type Y for yes. I want you to type N for no. I am going to make this the pinned comment on today's video, so if you get hit with the YouTube ad break, scroll on down and let me know. Will Carr get benched in 2020? Yeah, we're going to talk about Antonio Brown. I'm sure you saw it in the title. I'm sure you already are starting to chant FAB in the comments. So there's a report out there that maybe 4 to 5 teams could have some interest in the troubled wide receiver. Now, we know that he burned multiple bridges last season, one of those being the Las Vegas Raiders. Yesterday on NFL Daily, Tom Downey and we broke down the most likely destinations for AB. And if you guys want to check out that video, it's at youtube.com/chatsportstv. So what exactly can Antonio Brown bring to your team? Well, when he's fully healthy, when he's not absolutely insane, you can see here the numbers, they're very good. And in fact, I would even argue he can bring fireworks to a team. Speaking of fireworks, we do have these awesome 4th of July t-shirts for the nation out there. You can get this one that you see on screen at chatsports.com/Raiders4th. It's only $24.99. There's also, though, long sleeve shirts. So I love this saying, red, white, and hey you. You can get your Raider shirts, but it's for long sleeve t-shirts. There's even sweatshirts. They have women's shirts. I love this Derek Carr one. All sorts of Raiders 4th of July gear. Chatsports.com/Raiders4th is how you get it. I'll put it in the comments. I'll put it in the description. They sold really well, though, yesterday. So I'm just going to warn you, if you do want to get one, you better get it now. I'm wearing my 4 Chucky Head shirt, so hey, Raiders won't sign AB. Yes, this one is 4 Chucky Heads. Believe it, baby. There is no interest whatsoever, not even a little bit, in going out and getting Antonio Brown. But anytime that there's news or rumors, either a big-name NFL player or a past Raider, I get asked all the time, Mitch, will the Raiders go out and get this player? And I'm actually kind of shocked that I even have to say this. I'm even kind of shocked that I have to put this on the show. The Raiders will not bring back Antonio Brown. And honestly, the only way, the only way I say, sure, AB, you can come back to the team is if you are 100% free and if you literally delete all your social media accounts. But honestly, that might not even be enough. Don't even have a cell phone. Throw it away. Throw it in the river. Get rid of it, because that's the only way I can ever trust you to be reliable. So yesterday on NFL Daily, Tom and I, we broke down some AB destinations. Now, I didn't rank them, okay? I didn't ultimately rank them, but what I wanted you guys to do is go and check out the video. So Seattle Seahawks, Baltimore Ravens, Green Bay Packers, San Francisco 49ers, Washington Redskins. Those are the top 5 teams I think would be most likely to bring back Antonio Brown. So would you guys want to re-sign AB? Obviously, he's very talented, 31 years old, 6 years, over 1,000 yards. I mean, I don't need to sit here and tell you how good of a receiver he is. But we experienced it firsthand, how much of a nutcase he is. So would you want AB to resign with us? Type AB for yes, and I expect to see a lot of FABs for no. Let's go to Cory Littleton now. And normally fan-side, it's not the best, but I agree with him here. I'm going to give it 4 Chucky Heads that Cory Littleton was our best offseason addition. Now, this was including free agency, and it was also including the draft. And I think we had an absolutely spectacular draft. I really do. But when I really think about all the pieces, all the players that we were able to add on free agency, I do think Cory Littleton was the guy, right? I mean, he was my number 1 linebacker prospect that I wanted us to go out and get, and he was in my top 3 for free agents that I wanted us to go out and get. And when you really look at the Raiders' struggles, not just recently on offense, but definitely on defense, it's been at the linebacker position because we haven't been able to find somebody reliable. Now, one of the reasons why I really like Littleton was in 2016, he was a UDFA, worked his way into a starting roster spot, and has been one of the most consistent linebackers in the National Football League. So now you add him to our depth chart. You pair him with the Nick Kwiatkowski, who I think slot in very, very well. But for a team that wants to be versatile, for a team that needs to be able to cover tight ends, for a team that needs to be able to cover running backs, for a team, well, you're going up against the best offense in the NFL and Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. You need to have players like Cory Littleton where you have this new-aged linebacker, if you will, who can cover some of these positions. So Cory Littleton, in my opinion, was the best offseason addition. But coming up after this YouTube ad break, I'm going to give you my top 5 offseason additions. At number 1, it's Littleton. Spoiler alert. And at number 2, I got Henry Ruggs, who we drafted number 12 overall. You need to be able to add some talent around Derek Carr. I'm a little bit worried about what he's doing in the offseason, helping people move. Henry, hire someone to do it. Yeah, and you got Nick Kwiatkowski at number 3 at linebacker. Carl Nassib's going to play linebacker/defensive end for us. And then Prince Amukamara. I actually really like this move. We got him at a pretty cheap offer. If you don't like my top 5 best offseason additions for this upcoming season, you guys know where to find me. Instagram, Twitter. I'm at Mitchell Renz 365. I'm going to give you one more opportunity in this video to go get yourself some 4th of July stuff. I always rep my Raiders stuff. I mean, I don't really go out in public anymore without wearing a Raiders shirt. But I'll be honest, I'm a very festive person. I'm going to wear red, white, and blue on the 4th of July, so why not rep your favorite team at a cookout? I'll be in Danville, Pennsylvania for 4th of July. If anybody's near the 570 and, hey, you want to grab a burger, you want to grab a beer, hit me up. But I will put this in the comments section, and I'll put it in the description. Go to chatsports.com/Raiders4th. Get yourself some Raiders gear. All right, the last rumor here on today's show, Johnathan Abram. Is he the key on defense? And I was going through YouTube, scrolling around, and I saw this video from Jackson Krueger Sports. And honestly, I wasn't crazy about the video. I mean, no offense to him. I want a little bit more excitement when I watch film studies, but, to each their own. Anyway, though, he listed Johnathan Abram as the key to the Raiders defense. Why? Because he needs to be able to play safety. He needs to be able to play linebacker. He needs to do all these things, plus bring that toughness to our defense. So I'm going to give it 2 Chucky heads because I think that there is a chance that he could be the key. But to put that on just one player and one player only, I don't know if that's totally fair when he hasn't really played much. Plus, I don't know how we're going to ultimately use him on defense. Do I think he can be a good free safety? Yes. Do I think he can be a good strong safety? Yes. Do I think he can play linebacker? Absolutely. But for him to be the key, he does need to play a little bit better in coverage. And one of the things that Krueger does note is he is a great tackler. He's great against the run. But for you really to be the key to the defense, you do need to improve in the passing game. And I do expect the Raiders to run a lot of cover 3. But how is that going to impact Johnathan Abram's stats? Well, I figured I'd just ask all y'all. So what I want you to do here, I'm going to give you a few seconds. How many tackles, how many pass breakups, how many interceptions, and how many forced fumbles will Johnathan Abram have in 2020? So last season, Abram was a rookie, and a lot of our rookies signed rather quickly, if you remember. This season has not been the case, but all I'm trying to do is say this. Don't worry. Calm down. I understand that all 7 of our rookies are unsigned, but there's 186 draft picks that remained unsigned. You're looking at about 27% have signed. 29 of the 32 first-round picks unsigned. The reason is teams are just waiting until players can come to their facility and until their medical staff can see if they're fully healthy and then invest and pay them millions of dollars. Believe it or not, I think it's a smart decision. Now, I love a lot of our players. I'm excited to see when a lot of our players can come into camp. But, again, do not panic. It is okay, the fact that they have not signed. The other thing, though, that I do want to point out here is you have to end up paying your rookies some money. The Raiders are actually a little bit tight on cap space. So here are the teams that have the 6 worst cap situations right now in the NFL. As you can see down below at number 27, it's the Las Vegas Raiders at $7.42 million. So yesterday on the Raiders Report, I put out a video of 5 players that you could see the Raiders potentially trade. The reason why I did that video is because of cap situation. Because believe it or not, money matters. Raider Nation, what's going on? Is this the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube? For Chucky heads, believe it, baby. And if you haven't already, subscribe right here. I'm giving you Chucky heads, news, rumors, Raider Nation rumors. And look at this, I'm making your life easier. Check out my next video. Thanks for watching, and go Raiders.